my friends kind of fucking around for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have like an Evan who's like randomly level 165 and he has what is it called? Frozen gear and stuff. But
Okay.
other than that, pretty much that was all that was on my account.
That was just like a mega burn or something.
Yeah, yeah. When Evan first got like revamped or something.
Oh yeah, there was the Aaron and Evan revamp.
Yep.
And then the other heroes also got the frozen gear, but they didn't get any buffs. But yeah, I remember a lot of people being like, "Hey, how do you have so many characters with frozen gear?" But that was because all the other heroes, I believe, also got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, and then
that's a
other
while
than
ago.
that, pretty much. Yeah. No, that definitely was a while ago.
Like
Also,
four.
actually, it did come with like a level 100 pot or something. So I had a level 100 Demon Avenger.
True. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of
And
those
so yeah, that
purple
was like a
things.
decent, I guess, boost for the account for starting now. Because now that I'm taking Reboot seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, started HoYoung. Uh, honestly, it's crazy like the progress you make per day. Like all of this stuff is honestly like already outdated a bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. In the beginning, you go super fast. Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's been like 3 days or something. But
Mm-hmm.
my biggest gripe, I guess, right now is that it like when it comes to equips and what to upgrade and what not to. That's the reason like you pretty much only saw I got lucky with a Dominator pendant drop
Mm-hmm.
and I showed the secondary and the emblem because
Yep.
that's all I pretty much know right now is what's good to.
What do you mean you got lucky with a drop? It also has like
Oh yeah,
transpose
also
plus
the flame is
flame. Like
really
what the
good.
fuck?
Yeah, the flame was really fucking good too. And
Yeah, it is.
believe it or not, actually, I got a second Dominator pendant drop too. So, like, yeah, I've just been pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, pretty lucky. Yeah, I think some people in the chat would agree with that.
Yeah, people are definitely mad. I know some of my guildies were fucking mad. Um,
Make sure you just link your pendant at least once a day in the chat.
yeah, of course, of course. And yeah. So,
Stay mad.
other than that, I've been pretty much saving up my meso.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky to have a guild who kind of carries me at least through CRA and Helix,
Mm-hmm.
and I just did Lomian Prees,
Mm-hmm.
so I can get carried for that and stuff. So when
Well.
it comes to carrying, I'm like there's not really a concern there, which is why I'm especially troubled when it comes to what to upgrade or not.
Yeah. What you say you're lucky to get carried. I would argue that that's unlucky, but that's like a point of
really?
view. Well, one of the things is also like what do you upgrade and everything, but since your progress through the game gets like fast tracked because of the carries, that does require you to make a lot of different decisions, and also
Yeah.
once the ability to getting carried kind of stops, it does suddenly put like all way more pressure on you than you've been like getting used to before.
Yeah.
So like the whole mechanics of learning the boss mechanics, failing.
Oh, but so you see, that's the thing is
Uh-huh.
like when I played on regular servers, I definitely was not like, I guess, like early game or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was doing H will and stuff with my party.
Right. So you've gone
So
through the whole
yeah, I've
progression.
I've been through all this like way too many times because I've also
I see. I see.
I've switched mains like just about a trillion times. I've gotten like 7 characters to like 230,
Played
240.
everything. Yeah, okay. Okay.
And yeah, so like my mechanics are
Mm-hmm.
pretty solid and stuff. So
Okay, that's good.
that's
That's good.
why to me it's not like a concern. Kind of, I'm just rushing to get to that point again.
Yeah. No. Okay. I got that. Yeah. It's definitely different if it's not your first character. But I guess you would
No.
agree that it's if it's on your first character, that it's a pretty important
Oh yeah, of course,
thing to
especially
go through.
with the harder bosses.
Yeah. Some people tell me like, wait, I thought this boss was really easy because I saw you do it on stream, and then I tried it and like I got fucking destroyed. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
The
there's
only
no better
boss
learning than
really-
doing it yourself, because like the will tests and everything, it can look easy, but you just need to fail that 2 or 3 times before you get the hang of it.
Yeah, it looks easy if you're good at it. Yeah.
You know.
Like I saw you do like CPAP on some like unfunded person. That's the one boss that I haven't really put too much attention into, and that's actually a boss.
I
that
guess
I
in
think I'm gonna struggle with because like CPAP just seems kind
Mhm.
of AIDS, but
I guess in non-reboot when it came out, you're already so strong that you would just burst it down, right?
Yeah, I would burst them down in like a second.
Yeah, so there's no point in learning anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a video on CPAP that a lot of people found very helpful, where I think I take my my Adele, who's pretty weak. Well, Adeles
Mhm.
are never really weak, but
Yeah, that's the one I saw. I think that was like
yeah,
unfunded and
yeah. So I had a video where I talk through the whole thing, and a lot of people respond very positively to the help they get from that one video.
yeah.
Many people like super struggling, and then after like watching it once and trying it 2 more times, they are actually clearing it. So that has proven very helpful. I want to do stuff like that for other bosses as well, but you know,
Yeah, definitely.
you got to get like a good recording. You know, I have recordings of all the other bosses, but I think I should re-record the Lotus one, because Lotus changed quite a bit now with the Awake update.
What changed with Lotus? I didn't know.
So the beginning laser now is always an X shape, so it can never spawn on you anymore. So that's one
about
difference.
time.
And then the lasers and the platform have different timings. So when the platforms fall, usually Lotus makes like one of those little stutter steps, and that's how you know he's summoning the laser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's like the stutter step, and then boom, the laser is like, I don't know, like 300, 400 milliseconds after. Immediately it's the laser. But now there's legitimately like 3 seconds or something in between. So the rhythm is completely different.
Yeah.
That did make
you have
it
more time to get on the platforms.
Yes,
if
so
you're
you have more
constantly
time to get on the platform, and there's also the platform and the lasers are better synchronized. That you'll never have. It's always really close. That as soon as the platforms disappear, the laser disappears as well. So it's like really close. But I haven't seen a situation yet where the lasers like are still there and the platform disappears. Because in the past, sometimes you'd have the platform like completely disappear before the laser even starts, you know, because he'll just be throwing out other attacks and stuff. So they synchronize that better. So that's
yeah, he was fucking like not buggy, but just like janky as fuck before.
Oh yeah, and as a marksman, for example, you could never, if you were like on a box or standing next to one of those boxes, the arrow just wouldn't go through, and you'd just be hitting like some kind of invisible wall. They fixed all of that as well. So there's like a lot of DPS loss as a marksman, because you'd be shooting him, but the arrows just wouldn't reach.
Yeah, luckily HoYoung fucking avoids all this shit. Like, so I last played when Pathfinder came out, and like Jesus Christ, like the amount of fucking privilege HoYoung has, just fly over fucking everything.
Oh yeah,
everything
your Nimbus cloud thingy, yeah. And you can, that's like no cooldown, right? As soon as you land, you can just do it again.
Yeah, 0 cooldown on it. And you have skills to like stall you in the air too. So.
Yep. Oh yeah, we got that fire thing that you can reel up straight up in the air as well.
Yep, and the fan thing.
And you have 2 iframes, which...
Yeah, and the iframe... Yeah, the iframe with like 20-second cooldown. He's just ridiculous. Like, these classes are getting ridiculous. Adele and HoYoung are crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just when I thought they could not get more ridiculous.
And then, did you see Kane release?
I did see that, but I didn't really focus on how OP he is or not, but I just saw the class. He looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I seem to have like a directional dash that gives him dark sight in the movement. It has some cooldown, but there's a bunch of skills that if you use those properly, you can reset the cooldown, so you'll be able to like zigzag through the map if you cycle between the other skills and shit. It seems like he will actually need... I think it'll be a little bit like HoYoung, where, you know, you can hold down one button and you can do something, but if you really learn what to do and you know, and learn the mechanics well and play, just, yeah, like a higher skill ceiling, like easy to get into, but also difficult to master, something like that. I hope they strike the balance well. The character seems to have a lot of final damage and critical rate and critical damage, but doesn't seem to have that much IED and not that much boss damage, so, you know, for what it's worth, I think it seems very, very heavily like a mobbing character. That'll be very easy to fund and get to high level, but not necessarily very good. And a lot of his skills have like extra damage to monsters, like to normal monsters, so that seems to make mobbing very easy to progress and get to high level, but then once you're high level, you'll still have to learn the boss mechanics because your damage will be significantly lower. So I hope to strike the balance there well, because yeah, Adele and HoYoung release are definitely were crazy. But with HoYoung, with the 4th V, I think that helped a lot with balancing out the character.
Because I never played before, really, I don't know, but I just do know the 4th V is good as fuck.
Yeah, apparently before, HoYoung was just super, super good at burst, and then off burst you were kind of like meh. especially when bossing. But now, if you cycle that one and you can keep your DPM up as well while you're off burst, and that's always a good thing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when HoYoung just came out, and we were like getting a fill for a hard lucid party, and we had a HoYoung fill who was like level, I think he was like 10, 15 levels lower than everyone, but he had like the second highest burst of the party already because of
Yeah, it's
all this
just
shit.
ridiculous, honestly. And now with like the lines and stuff, cappers are just gonna be absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Oh,
because
yeah.
like he seems to cap pretty easily, from what I've seen.
Yeah, well, especially during your burst because you have so much extra damage going in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so your goal now is just to like kind of like speed run back to the end of. Are you familiar with like the layers of like the game stages as I have laid them out for Reboot?
I mean, as you've laid them out, I've seen it's like what, like I guess CRA is like kind of like early to mid game range, and then mid game would be like lucid and will type, and then after that, pretty much shit after that, like hard lucid, hard will. After would be like your late game, and then obviously like the black mage bosses.
Yeah, so I have it in 4 stages because there's just too many levels.
Yeah.
So like early game for me is really like if you're a new person, new character, and then you kind of hit that wall for training once you have to get to like future Genesis, future Perion. Usually that's when people kind of feel like that first bump that things start to slow down and monsters actually kill you. Monsters actually do damage, you know? So that's usually where I end the early game. It's possible that changes if they like straighten out the experience curve more, or if you get level 300 and new areas and something. It's always subject to change, of course. And then mid game is usually once you're around the point where you solo CRA and are like struggling Lotus and Damien kind of. That's kind of like where I see the end of mid game, and then late game basically starts at that same point, of course, and ends around the point where you basically are able to hard lucid, hard will. I think that's like you're like 250 and you clear those bosses pretty well, and then end game would be anything beyond that, so like Varus Hill, like Gloom, Dark Knell, Black Mage, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I guess you're trying to aim towards like fast tracking, completely finishing the late game, which usually takes people quite a lot longer, right? Because progression is generally slower in Reboot versus non-Reboot. Because we just have fewer sources of damage, so you have to optimize on everything way more before you can get to that point. But yeah, since you've already gone through that, it is, yeah. I mean, it is a different way of progressing, and it is different stuff that you're aiming for.
The only thing I'm gonna say is like a preface to all of this, which I know is obviously gonna come up as like, I guess, an issue, because I'm here talking about how I want to like technically go through this the most optimal way. Is that I just really don't want to make a fucking Kana farmer. Like, I'm just so against it. I find it super boring, and I honestly just, if I'm gonna farm, I'm like totally glad to mob and grind on HoYoung just because I like their map rotations and I think they're like sick mobbers. And I have fun doing that. I just can't have fun doing Kana. So for me, the most efficient way is obviously if I just grind on my HoYoung.
Yeah, and I talk about this all the time. Like, efficiency is one thing, but efficiency for you, for what you want, is always more. Is just better than just what is objectively the most optimal. Because if you can't keep that up, then you'll never get as far. So that makes perfect sense.
If I'm gonna fucking end up getting bored of the game and just quit after making a Kana, then of course I'm just not gonna ever progress. So.
So would it help if I like focus a bit more, I guess, on what would be the main things to focus on because of differences between Reboot and non-Reboot?
Well, really, right
Because
now,
like how that impacts the game differently. Like, I know you know what the differences are, but like the implications might not always be like super clear very early on.
Yeah, I think that would be good for me because genuinely, like, I pretty much went through regular server like a whale, if I'm being honest. Like, I just invested a lot of money, and over time, basically, I just switched mains so much. I would basically just sell the gear of my main and then switch on to the fucking next one. And
That sounds tricky though. Like, you have to find like a perfect person who wants to play that character and take most of this stuff over.
The thing is, honestly, is like, most of the time I'd say I had like very wanted gear. Like it was end game gear, so there was a lot of demand for it, and
Okay.
you know, people would buy it. So like I'd usually sell all my gear in about like a month or two. So it wasn't terrible, but
Okay. Yeah, with the amounts, with the meso cap going up to 100 bill, that's probably for non-reboot also a little bit more helpful.
yeah, definitely. Oh my god, definitely.
Although the meso value seems to have been fluctuating all over the place there because of when the botters
Yeah,
are actually
they're
gone and when they're
ridiculous.
back, it's I was selling off all my meso there for like 2.6 per 100 mil, and then now it's back down to 1.4 or something. Yeah, it's like fluctuating
Yeah.
like mad. So one of the major things, of course, is that we don't have trade, but the main implication is because we don't have that, you can't really fund your other characters with like training gear. So the way that we fund is by leveling characters. Like, so the Legion and the Lynx is basically your account funding, and that's really how you have to see it.
Which I've been making a heavy focus on. Like even right now, I'm training my Kinesis, trying to get him to 140, and that's pretty much been my my like minimum. That's where I draw the line pretty much. Like I have to at least get 140 on these guys so that I get the S rank Legion. And
are you like training straight up to 140?
What do you mean by that?
So what my advice usually is that, especially in the beginning with Legion, you have like it's like quantity over quality basically. You just want to flood your account with just like as many characters as possible, because that gives you insane Legion ranks that allows you to level it up, put more characters on the board, and then you can like slowly start filling the characters out individually as you're going. So what I usually advise is just make a new character, get it to level 100, kill Zakum, and then basically pop some more Zakums on some other characters, and then just focus on your main. As long as you're loving your main, I would just like keep that grind going, because there's like insane, like you said, like every day, even if you're focusing on Legion and you're not playing your main that much, every day there's so many gains to be made. You definitely want to get all those simple dailies in. You definitely want to get just some training, and you want to keep making some progress.
Yeah, I've been doing that every day, and like I pretty much like just became capable of killing like Hard Von Leon, Hard Run Maru, pretty much all of those daily bosses that give like the most per crystal. So I just became capable of that. And to answer the question earlier, I have been pretty much training these guys to 140 straight, but I will definitely now just make more of these guys, because I do agree that must be smarter.
Yeah, because you get the obviously like the first 40 levels are always easier to do than 100 to 140, right? I think it's just so much faster. Some characters are an exception because they have like huge storylines, like you just did Kinesis, right? You actually get locked into an area for a while before you can get out. Ilium has that. HoYoung has that to an extent, right? Because you need to get your Nimbus and everything. You need to get your skill.
Yeah, HoYoung, initially it's funny because like I actually just skipped the whole storyline, not knowing that like if you don't do it, you literally miss 10% final damage, 10% attack. Like it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, with Adele they did that as well,
required.
right? Final, I think Adele has a 10% attack or something as well on her storyline skill.
But,
yeah, they started doing that.
I came back to it and finished it later. So.
Yeah, they started doing that where the storyline actually has value to it, so that's why you want to do it. I think that's kind of smart. Like if you want to skip it, you can, but then you can come back later to do it, or you do it immediately, but then you get rewarded for it. I think that's honestly that's probably a good idea, because you want people to play that content. You want people to see that. It's kind of railroaded, but you know, not in the worst way. But yeah, bunch of level 100s, and then you can just do Zakum every day. And if you look at how much experience you get, and it's such a short time killing Zakum because all of the arms give so much experience, you're actually getting like better rates than you would get training anywhere. But because you have so many characters that you can do Zakum on, you're basically power leveling all of them, but you're just spreading the power leveling over all the characters. And then I would do that until they all get to 140. You know, if you have if you get to the point where you have like 5 or 6 characters to do Zakuman, and you don't want to, you know, do like 20 a day. I actually had a time where I did 40 double Zakums a day. Back when you could do 2 runs a day. I don't know if you remember that time.
I do remember, yeah.
And that was almost like the way that I kind of like funded my account in the beginning. Was through like some cubes here, you know, here and there, and then just all of the the mezzo, because they would drop straight up mezzo, right? You get my inner ability to have a little bit more mezzo obtained, and then run it on all those characters a day. But of course, after a while, that's just not exactly efficient anymore. But that's like one of the ways that I funded my account, because I did the whole thing without a Kana farmer as well. I never had like a dedicated farming character, and I got to where I did. So you're going to be looking for those opportunities where you can get like low effort, many crystals, and the upscaling of having many characters is pretty crazy, because like I'm working on Project CRA now, so I'm trying to get all of the characters in the account to be able to solo CRA. And just if you think about it, you think like, okay, that costs a lot of money, right? Because you got to fund everything. But when you look at how many cubes, how many flames you just randomly make when you're doing the bosses just to gear yourself up,
you get so much free.
You get so much stuff back. And for example, just clearing Root Abyss is like it's a 2.9 mil crystal, and you got to do every boss 10 times. So that's 29 mil 4 times. That's 116 mil or something. That's 116 per character. So I'm doing that on 40 characters. So that's like 4.5 bill just in Root Abyss crystals that I get back as well.
Yeah.
Like the upscaling of so many characters is insane. And I don't know if you saw the KMS change coming with the no more experience loss on death change.
I did see that. I did, which is also another thing that I was like, okay, no way I'm making a fucking Kana.
Yeah, you could definitely still make a Kana farmer and make a lot of money off of it in 6 months. Of course, like it earns itself back way more. But one thing that I also said in the last progression session, like there's a lot of bots right now that you have to fight over maps for. The best maps have like schedules that are airtight, that are just have 24-hour, 24/7 like coverage already. Those posted rates that you could possibly get are very, very hard to actually attain. And I think it always makes more sense to just get mezzo and drop gear on your main and just grind it out and just get strong enough. Because we can be strong enough. With boost nodes and arcane power, you can definitely get strong enough to still... people say one-shot, quote-unquote, but what they mean is like realistically clear the map before monsters respawn, right? Whether you kill in 1 or 2 hits. If you kill in 1 or 2 hits, essentially you still have the exact same killing speed. So it's not... like you have to literally kill it in 1 hit. But yeah, so the implication of the value of your Legion, that's huge. And it's definitely, once you start hitting like 3K, and typically for Reboot, that's when it starts really snowballing. 3K is huge because then you get to put 5 extra characters in. And then once your characters slowly... so you're working on increasing your grid with like just piling on new characters, and then at the same time, once you get your level 100 characters to 140, then you're also increasing like the quality of every single character that's already in there, and then you can start min-maxing where you put all the stats. And once you get to 2K, you start expanding, you get your critical damage in, and that's when you're going to see the damage increase on your main as well. It's going to be a slow start for your main. You're mainly going to be investing in skills that will help your other Legion characters level up faster. Prioritizing your leveling skills and stuff like critical rate and then the damage and critical damage. And once those are set, every new character you make is going to be so strong on creation that it's going to feel like you just leveled in like logged into level 80 character or something. You're just lacking the skills, but you already have the damage.
Yeah. That's why like even in regular servers, before they ever even introduced Legion, like I had so many characters, and Legion just came and it was just a straight up buff. And,
what was it? The monster
after that, they were just so easy to level.
They had like character cards, right? The card sets and stuff.
Yeah, before Legion, they had these character cards. It was like on the main screen. You had to do it.
You had to select the 3 sets or something, and then it was.
You had the 3 sets, and they were garbage, honestly.
If you compare to Legion, it was nothing. Yeah.
Wow, what the fuck? You actually I completely forgot about the character cards.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 sets of 4, I think, and then you could. If it was, all
3 sets of 3,
or like 3, yeah.
Shit like Aaron, Evan, Mercedes one. Like
if they were all heroes or all warriors, and then if they were the same level, and they had like a color, right? They were like purple. If it was like all purple or all green. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. But if you added all those buffs up, it was maybe like the same value of like 4 or 5 member bonuses now. Once you get done, and then everything else is like total bonus. But yeah, that's why this is super important, especially if you have like a newish account, to like fund your whole account, because definitely. You've seen like a big Legion, what a big Legion can give. Those stats will help you progress so much faster. And also these kind of are this is where you get your like your peripheral stats, or mainly like your bossing stats, right? This is where you get all the stuff that doesn't really go into your range. You're mainly going into like, because I think buff duration is pretty useful for HoYoung, right?
It is. It's like it's not necessary, but it's just convenient. It's
Yeah.
really convenient because one of our buffs just lasts like a pretty short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, if you do see in my inner ability, actually, that's why like I kept the second line 23% buff duration.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah.
I'm not gonna like min max right now for 38%. And,
Yeah, 38 is a nightmare.
that like
Yeah.
that's just a good number. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick
exactly.
with that. And
Yep, that's good. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, crit damage, IED, possibly buff duration, crit rate if you needed, boss damage, like those between your link skills and your legion, you get so much of that. So that's where you want to focus on, and then within your account itself, you know, you're puzzling with those stats, with your hyper stats and everything. But the main thing there is that a lot of your damage there just comes from your gear and your matrix, right? So I assume boost node wise, you have it all kind of like figured out on.
yeah, I have it figured out. Pretty much, I have 3 trios of like the skills that I thought in terms of priority would be most important.
I think you end up boosting like everything, right?
Yeah, you boost everything, which is kind of annoying because that means I need like 6 fucking slots. For
Yeah.
it, but it's fine. Like I'll definitely get the levels to equip them all eventually.
If some skills, yeah, like the min-maxing in that is if some skills are only used for mobbing versus bossing, then you try to group those, right?
Yeah, but the thing is like pretty much all the skills
yeah.
are used for bossing, and
Yeah.
like a few, I'd say, depending on what you're doing in mobbing,
Mm-hmm.
aren't used in mobbing.
Yeah.
Because like the mobbing is, like you can get really creative with it. Like I've seen so many different HoYoung setups, and like
Yep.
I've created like my own fucking 6 setups at Slurpee in my opinion, so far, and yeah, there's just like a lot of stuff with it. So
Have you
the first,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, go.
Have you experimented with like putting more boost nodes in and putting the boost nodes in the leveled up slots rather than the skill nodes to see if that helps your kill speed, or are you just so strong that it doesn't really matter at this point?
So right now you're like it's, I can't believe I'm saying this, like it's already outdated, that fucking
Okay, you've already moved
that
it. Yeah,
V
okay.
matrix.
Mhm.
My boost node's +5, and my boost node is +5, and in the next slot I already got my next trio,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be boosting that with my next level. So yeah, like as of now those 2 boost nodes are
They're already
taking
rearranged.
priority for the slot enhancements.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
Uh,
because it's 10% extra final damage, right? As soon as you put them in, so that's
yeah.
it's always juicy. Okay, good. Yeah, you're basically just gonna be adding boost nodes, then your speed infusion, I guess, and then one after the other, a little bit more bursty skills.
Yeah. Yeah, and as of now I just have decent sharp eyes and holy symbol taking place, because you know the holy symbol, obviously it's good if I'm just gonna keep grinding.
Mm-hmm.
And sharp eyes, my crit is close to being maxed, and so that's something that I like eventually think like is gonna be brought up in this session, is bringing up like my crit and my IED,
Mm-hmm.
because my crit and IED need to, you know, go up, especially the IED, though the IED is incredibly low right now.
Yeah,
And,
those are typically stats. Well, not for every class, but those are typically the stats that really determine your damage. I think I referred to IED, like crit rate, kind of as the IED for crit damage, I guess. Like you need the crit rate up there so that the crit damage applies, just like you need the IED up there for all of your other damage to apply when it comes to bossing. They're kind of like they're kind of the foundation that sometimes gets forgotten, because like, oh, you want to stack more damage, right? So you go for the crit damage and you go for the boss damage. But if your crit rate and your IED aren't there, then they're just not applying.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you definitely got to get your foundations right. Well, that's also why I talked about the Legion first, because that's definitely where you can get a lot of that. Between your link skills and your Legion buff, I think you can, like theoretically, you could get up to 40... I think like 48% crit rate or something, not even putting anything in the Legion board in crit rate. So, and that will pretty much get any class already to 100%. And
Yeah.
if you have to like sacrifice a bunch of damage to get to 100% crit rate first, that's not bad at all. Like it'll still get your damage up, and then slowly, as you get crit rate from other sources, you can just start weeding yourself off. So there's Beast Tamer and HoYoung coming out this Wednesday. So those are both very good targets to upgrade for both Link Skill and Legion.
I didn't even know Beast Tamer's coming out also. I just thought it was
Yep.
0. I'm definitely getting 0 to 200 for sure, just because it's like easy and I find them fun.
Yeah, they confirmed it yesterday, and usually these two come out together, so I'd already been hinting with my chat that they might come back, to definitely keep an eye out. But yeah, they confirmed it yesterday that they both are coming back. So those will both be very useful. And of course, you're more aware with Zero what he does than we are. We're still all learning, so...
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that he gives ID, that I guess that's just convenient and lucky that he's also coming out to Reboot right now, because I do need that. I need to work on Lumi for sure for
Lumi.
IED. And
the mage link.
The Explorer Mage Link.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually one thing. When I was last playing, like they just introduced those Explorer links, and I honestly didn't really like pay attention too much to them. But so one thing I guess I am wondering kind of is what are the good links that I should have on my character?
Yeah, sure. Have you seen my links command? Have you seen that one?
I've seen the chart where it shows like every character and what their Legion thing is and what their link is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it on this one.
Yeah, so that's like, well, we'll probably prop 0 up somewhere up here, right? Because it's got the EXP, so it's going way up here.
Yeah.
For your skill, for your like, yeah. So eventually you'll get access to all of the links, and then you can mix and match. Do you want to know like what to? So I would just prioritize according to this, and then whichever comes into play that you can use, then you just replace it with something that you already have that's worse. And I would usually just like organically kind of work my way up that way, rather than trying to fast track certain links specifically for your main, because I think it'll slow your overall progress to get to the finish line down, and since you're still trying to do it efficiently. I think the way to go is to
I don't care what I work on next. I want to do whatever is like best for the most efficient progress.
Yeah, you'll have to do them eventually, right?
Yep.
One thing I will say is that if you find a character that you really just hate, but you've already leveled most characters, but if there's really one you just absolutely despise, then just wait for a burn. And we do have another Terror burn coming to 23rd as well. I don't know if you have a...
So funny you say that, because like you just mentioned Beast Tamer. I think if anything, maybe I want a Terror burn Beast Tamer and just go for level 3 link, because honestly, if I'm not going to Terror burn, I'm probably not going to go for level 3 link, like for a long time at least. I'll just be getting to 140.
Yeah, and, Beast Tamer was kind of like revamped not too long ago, so it probably plays a bit differently than you're used to. But it is honestly, a very specific class.
Beast Tamer was like probably over 5 years ago. So.
Oh yeah, it's very different than now. But yeah, it's a weird class. It doesn't have like the regular job advancements. It got all those different bird forms and everything. Yeah. Apparently, the bird form is a lot more competitive now for mobbing. There's definitely a bunch of quality of life stuff added to the bear mode, like the big fishy slap. Like you can move while you're doing that now, so you can move around the map. Pretty quickly too. Actually, you can move way faster than I was anticipating. The fucking panther mode, no, jaguar modes, leopard mode, whatever. Leopard still has that that dash that you can spam, so you can just smash across the map.
Yeah. On fucking.
There's definitely some things, but yeah, if that's a class that you're really not looking forward to, and all the other things you're like, I can probably do those, then yeah, by all means, just Terror burn it. And then you can get your nodes. Do you know how to get your nodes back after like a Terror burn?
Well, I'm assuming it would probably be like you just open them and then craft, or you decraft them all and then craft them into a bunch of node stones and transfer through storage.
Yeah. You also get special nodes though, so remember to use the special nodes on something first to give them EXP and then disassemble them. That's the only
Yeah.
extra thing. Yeah, you probably, from the people I've talked to, they probably get like 50 to 55 nodes back that way, so it's actually pretty efficient.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, so I bought out all of the nodes in the event shop,
Yeah,
but
nice.
so I have my 3 trios right now, but looking for the next 3, I don't have any of those yet, and it's kind of annoying because now I've already bought out all my nodes
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah, now I pretty much just have to get lucky with drops, even though I do have a ton of leftover nodes stored up for when I do get the trios, that they'll
Yeah,
like be a high level.
I'll link you this. It's like a document that's, I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's like something someone made specifically for HoYoungs because you need so many boost nodes.
Hmm.
And that'll highlight like all of the outs you actually have. And then you can very clearly see as well like which ones you can keep and which ones you can get rid of like preemptively, so that you don't hold on to too many nodes, but also that you don't get rid of too many nodes.
Yeah.
Because it's a big puzzle when you have so many. The positive thing is that you have a lot of outs, but once you start locking, the more you start locking down, the more limited your options become, right? So it's always a tricky in the beginning. If someone just has 2 boost nodes that they need to level, it's super easy. You just wait, you just get 2 out of 3s first, and then you move them into 3 out of 3s later, and you're done. And it's it's super fucking simple. But if you have this many, on the one side, almost every single node you get is a tri-node, so you have to hold on to everything, so you don't have a lot of shards. But then on the other end, once you start locking some of them in, then you're looking for like those last 2, it can be really, really difficult to get those exact 3 skills on those last 2 nodes. So the trick is to not lock in too quickly. What could be an option as well is that you keep nodes that start with the same skill but have a different like configuration of 3 skills as the ones you're already using, and not use them as a node to level up your current node, but hold them as possible complete set of 6, and then you can use your current node to level up that one instead, and that will give you way more outs to rearrange your skills again.
Yeah.
That would be the other
That does
option. Yeah,
seem like a potential option.
because then
I mean, honestly,
you'll
the
slow
truth
down your
is,
levels a little bit, but they're already leveling a bit slower now anyway, right? So it's not like you're completely gimping yourself at this point. Definitely up to level 8 and 9, it levels up pretty quickly and gives a lot of damage. But if you're going like past level 10, 11, 12, it's still already slowing down a bit, so that might be a good option for you.
yeah. But the thing is, honestly, like, I'm not too concerned about reconfiguring it right now because I don't even have the slots yet. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, like, honestly, I might just take my chances. I have been collecting like a ton of specifically talisman clone nodes. So when I ideally when I do get the trio that I want, that will be just like a super high level because I literally have like 2 pages of that one specifically for
Yeah,
some reason.
you like immediately get to like level 22 or something. I
Yeah.
remember those. I think one time I was saving so many, I was like, oh god, I might even be like overcapping. And then I finally got it. I threw everything on, and I got exactly to 25. I had like the exact same amount. I was like, okay, every extra
Yeah,
one
that's
would have,
satisfying as fuck.
yeah, would have had to gotten disassembled and everything. Yeah, so it was like really close there. But that also shows like how long it took me to get that one node, because that's a lot of nodes to just get up to 25. A lot of the
That is.
times you're
It
just
actually is.
you're just slowly leveling it up, so you don't really notice how many it is. It's kind of like with leveling up your symbols. You don't really notice how expensive it is because it's like 10 mil here, 20 mil there, and the last one is expensive. But if you look it all up, I think it's to level up all your symbols. I think it's like 9 bill or something to level them all up. Which isn't like the end of the world, but it's a decent sum of money. Like I think most people would think that it wasn't nearly that much.
No, it definitely is. Like, especially because I've been like trying my best to save my money. That's pretty much all I've been spending my money on right now is leveling up the symbols.
I see that you have
Yeah,
oh sorry, go for it. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I see that you have a lot of Pencilier in your inventory. Did you like go ham on the 30% or?
I did not spend any money on the 30% because like
Good.
I really just did not have any clue what to do, and I've been saving those because I just know that they're fodder for transfer, but I don't know what route to take because if I'm getting Lomian carries and I'm doing my Scrapyard dailies and Dark World Tree dailies and all that stuff, like whether I should. The only thing I do know eventually I'm gonna transfer to is the Fafnir pants and top.
Yeah.
Since I have overall saved, I don't know
mhm.
about anything else really.
Yeah. So when it comes to one way, there's a bunch of ways to go about this. So and it's kind of different if you need the damage to get up there, or if you're getting carry to get up there, you can get away with a lot more. But that also means like how long could you keep getting away with it so that you could possibly even push past? Because there's like the point. Okay, there's typically like the point you have like all of your CRAs like epic. It's got like 6% main stat. It's like 12 stars. Got like an okay flame, and that's when you're like doing Lotus and Damien. And then after that, you start moving into Abzo, and then you kind of want to push the Abzo to 17 so you can get it to Legendary. You get some okay flames on there, and then you start moving into Will and Lucid. That's kind of like how it goes with Reboot. If you're like fast tracking all the way to that past, one thing means is that you don't have to spend money on the intermediary steps, which means that you could save that money to get to the last step faster. Or if you save enough before you get to that point, what it also means is you could even jump past that point from the get-go. Now with the changes,
Exactly, that's like kind of what I was trying to do.
yeah, because you don't have to spend the money, so you can fast track past. The one thing is though, with the change coming to the arcane drops and to the droplet drops, it might mean that jumping past that previous point might prove unnecessary, because instead you'd rather still take the same step but then start saving there so that you can do hard lucid and hard will, where like you could get carried there, but I imagine that you want to do those bosses yourself so that you can make sure that you're in the loot rotation for everything and stuff.
Yeah, by that point I don't want to get fucking carried.
Yeah, but you can be strong enough to do like hard lucid, hard will with just 17-star legendary Abzo, and just knowing the mechanics, knowing what you're doing, and just making sure that all the other stuff that won't get replaced by arcane, that stuff is like more up to snuff and more fleshed out, and then save all the excess money that you would spend going for like 18, 19, 20, 21 Abzo, save all of that, and then directly invest that into Arcana. So if you're into Umbra gear, so if you're planning on leveling past the area, if you're planning on doing those hard bosses a lot, maybe even on multiple characters, I don't know how how you're planning to go about it. Then,
right now,
yeah,
like it's definitely something that's not off the table whatsoever. I do definitely think it's gonna come to a point where I want to like make like a quote unquote secondary or something like that. But as of now, obviously, you know, that just seems so far into the future. I haven't really thought about who. Or
yeah, you'll
if
just be leveling your characters for Legion and get to 210 for level 3 Link, and you'd be like, oh shit, this 5th job is actually really fun. And then
yeah,
before you blink
like,
twice and you're level 225, and you're like, might as well keep going.
yeah, like I was looking at like, you know, obviously he seems to be like a fan favorite. Demon Slayer 5th job looks pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and they're on track to get buffed even more. So it seems
which
like
is
they're
ridiculous.
Yeah,
and now that they fix Shadower a lot, it's like really nice.
Yeah, you see a lot of those popping back up as well. True.
So now like Shadower actually seems, you know, like viable in GMS. And
yeah, as well for training and making decent rates as well.
Yeah, I saw a fucking Shadower making 1 bill or something per hour.
They can do some crazy, and the main thing is that you're not competing over the same maps as everyone else. You're kind of doing your own thing in different maps, which makes those numbers also way more reliable, even if they're a bit lower than the best Kanas out there. If you don't have to fight 300 people for the same 30 maps, then it's way more reliable to make those rates. So I even saw Demon Slayer in the new Limina map where they train making close to 600 mil clean. So that's also crazy. Really good rates. That's going to be like over 800, close to 900 when you have all your buffs on. So
yeah, those
are probably pretty crazy numbers though. If you're coming from non-reboot, like how much.
Oh yeah, of course.
Or you do Ursus and you see how much money you get from Ursus, because I watched you stream yesterday for like 2 minutes and guided Ursus and you got like 7.5 mil. I was like, oh god, this is depressing.
Yeah, no, that was something like when I was playing, at least, like Maple Tour didn't even exist, and Ursus, like nobody fucking did it because it was just
it's just not worth your time. Yeah.
Now, like in Reboot, at least you're making like 100 mil for 2 seconds of your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody cleared them so quick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And,
Imagine if fifth job came out and we had like Chaos Ursus or something with like way more HP, better rewards, but you could use
yeah,
fifth job skills. That thing would
yeah.
still blow up.
When he first released, he was not easy, as far as I remember. Because I think
No.
we had the 50 mil damage cap, right?
Yeah, but yeah, just so much HP compared to how weak everyone was. But then
Yeah,
just arcane power symbols, like this gives so much stat to everyone. It's insane.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now he just gets shredded, honestly.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I run with like a pre-made party, because some people who are a little bit laggy can't even get damage in if they run with randos. So
Yeah,
I make sure that we run with a group of people who like waits for everyone to load in and to hit, so that people can actually get their money. Because people are so strong now that it becomes impossible if you don't have like a good computer, or you don't have like an
yeah,
SSD, or you're just laggy. You run some ancient laptop, you just get fucked every day. And this way they get 100 mil extra a day, so they can actually progress a little bit faster in the game. And you know, it's so solo these days that it is fun to do something with other people as well every day, like a little bit. So
yeah. Definitely,
you keep a
definitely.
little bit of a connection with there are
Yeah,
other people in
everything you
this
do
game.
fucking by yourself now in this game.
Yeah, I think even 4.5 years ago, I think I was level 180, 190 or something before I was like, oh wait, I don't have anyone on my buddy list and I'm not in a guild. Like I'm actually
Yeah,
completely soloing through this. Maybe I should like join a guild or something.
yeah,
Because especially now, if you start at Terraburn, you're like level 210, and then you start looking around like, hey, what do I actually do in this game? Like,
yeah. No, I didn't even like. I had a bunch of friends on Vera because I played there for so many years. But on Reboot, like I didn't really know anybody. I just joined a guild and then kind of just went with them, and
mm-hmm.
it's been nice so far. But obviously, the game is really kind of solo progress focused, other than bossing.
Yep. Okay, so we were you were mentioning IED and crit rate, right?
Yeah.
So early, where you get most of that is from your hyperstats.
Yeah, which I started to not really feel because I've been waiting for this to see what you have to say.
Yeah.
So
Um,
as of now, I'm level 215. By the way, I hit 215, so I have
215.
like
Okay. Yeah.
70 points saved up or something.
Good. Good. Let's see. Cause yeah, the main thing will be to confirm that damage. So what is your buffed crit rate right now? Is it at 80?
Well, I got my Phantom Link to level 2 the other day.
Oh, so
Uh,
85?
Yeah, so it's 85 buffed right now.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So that could go to 95 if you crit rate up to 10, but that's maybe a little bit overkill, because Beast Tamer will come in like a week, right?
Yeah.
And
It-
if you get that at 210,
It's the
that's-
16th, no?
Yes. Well, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I say weekend, but it's tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, but the Terror Burning is the 23rd.
Yeah.
So-
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll take like a week for the level 3 link to come in, but you'll immediately get like the 4%, and then, so if you wait like a week to make it, it'll be 4, 7, 10 in no time.
Mhm.
So with
Yeah,
10%,
I think I'm definitely gonna burn Beast
Mhm.
Tamer if that's.
with 10% there, and I guess the Phantom isn't going to 210 anytime soon, right?
No, Phantom, not a chance. That class is garbage.
That could be a terror burn for like a year or a year and a half from now or something, if you want like min max on it.
Potentially.
Yeah. But I guess eventually you want to move out of the Phantom Link completely and want to use only one.
Yeah, that's what I was
crit link.
thinking.
Um, yeah, the main thing that will come from would be leveling the hyperstat further, getting a little bit of crit rate in your Legion, and then the other thing would be leveling the Marksman and the Night Lord, and getting that crit for your Legion board.
Night Lord, I'm definitely down to level up to 140. Same with Marksman, honestly.
Marksman is getting a little bit of rework, where their main mobbing skill gets like a little bit of extra arrows floating around hitting other targets, so that the mobbing gets a little bit better, because Marksman is notoriously horrible up to 200.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't. Many people either burn that or just barely get it to 100 and then just squeeze in 140 with Zakum runs and then just never touch that class again. It's a little awkward with how the hitbox works with the skills, and how they have effectively no mobbing basically. They just have one skill and it just hits in a perfectly straight line. So any kind of slanted
it's got, like,
surface.
outdated hitboxes, like Phantom 2 even. Phantom's hitboxes are so outdated. It's crazy. Like I remember when the tornado move was like considered fucking huge back in the day. Now it's just small and it sucks.
Yeah, like it gets bigger, but it's still like half the size of like a lot of other like second and third job skills that new classes
HoYoung's like
get.
first job skill is like as big as that thing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's quite a. I mean, HoYoung is quite a thing to compare with as well.
Yeah.
It's got a nice kit going. Yeah, IED wise, have you looked into familiars and how that is different for Reboot?
So actually, that's one thing that I honestly have not like looked into or into the change of at all. I have no clue how new familiars work. All I know is I have the Von Leon badge because it's like 1% attack.
Oh yeah, so well, so
I know familiars are broken now or something.
well, they were for a bit. In non-reboot, they're definitely broken because you can re-roll. You have the red cards would basically function as cubes.
Yeah.
But in reboot, we don't have those at all. So the only thing you get is basically when you reveal it, and then that's that. What you can do is
Yeah.
you can rank them up, which is a very tedious process. And if you can tier them
Seems
up,
like it.
then again all you get is just that one reveal on the higher rank. And if that's not what you want, then it's stuck there, and then you can rank it up again, or you can just leave it basically. So it's really a matter of like quantity over quality when it comes to reboot. That you just want to farm mass. What some people do is when they're like around your level, you can farm a bit in Forsaken Excavation Site 2. That's where a lot of them drop. And all the familiars just, well, most of them will just drop the common and the rare ones, and that's it. Like no epic, no uniques, nothing like that drops anymore. And like I said, like quantity over quality there. You just get as many as you can. You just reveal them all. And then in the beginning, you go for the 15% ID lines on either common or rare. It's actually more common on common than on rare, because rare has a little bit more variance, and they both only just have one outcome that is the 15% ID. So you have the one badge already, so you have access to two. If you could get two familiars with 15% ID, that would be a huge start, because all of the healing. So mainly in reboot, there's like three things you're looking for. It's like healing, some drop rate, and then IED, and then later you add boss damage. But that's basically the only things that you're ever looking for on familiars. But boss damage only comes into play on epic and higher. And the healing and the drop is really bad on the low level ones. So unless it's an epic one, the healing and the drop don't even like really come into, like, you can keep them, but they don't really add all that much to the
Yeah,
game.
just insignificant.
Yeah, so in the beginning you're just looking for the ID basically, and then once you get to 245 and up, once you get to Moonbridge and further, that's when you're regularly training, and then at that point you have enough drop rate in your kit and everything, right? At that point you're going to get just a lot of cards just from training, and at that point you will see that's when you start stacking them, start leveling them up. And to level them up, so you need to do two things. You need to like fuse them, the same cards together to get to the, like, there's like a sort of, yeah, if you fuse it, there's a sort of just a gauge that fills up. And when it's maxed out, you also have to level up the familiar itself, which means you have to summon it and kill monsters near your level, and that way you have to get it to level 5. So if you do both of those things, then you can attempt to tier it up to the higher rank. And then the higher the rank of the card already is, the higher the chance of failing. And if you fail, you keep the level, but you go half of the gauge. So you have to refill the gauge for 50%. And then if it tiers up, you just reveal the potential. And then, you just pray to RNGesus. And if it's bad, you you choose to either push it from rare to epic, and then epic to unique, and see if you get something on unique. And if you get a bad roll on unique, then yeah, it was all for nothing, and you just start over on a new card. And that's basically when you start, like, yeah, you throw like Hail Marys to see if you can get a big chunk of ID, a big chunk of boss maybe, or like a high drop rate amount, for example. That would be really nice. Or a combination of high amount of drop and meso drop, something like that. Or significant party healing, anything like that will be what you're looking for. But yeah, so that's much further down the line. So for now, getting ID on familiars is the best value, specifically for you, since you're already struggling a little bit with the ID, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that definitely gives ID early on that you could look into, and that's probably what I would advise, is to get at least one line of ID on your emblem. Like ideally just one line of 40% and a line of 9 attack, like those two together, that would be definitely enough for now, and that will greatly increase your damage to bosses. And then the third thing would be to max out your hyperstat for IED. Because
I'm
of
definitely
how...
gonna do that too.
Yeah. So like, if I do some crude maths on your IED, I think what probably would be good is to... Because you have 2, 1, 3, you had what, 70 points?
Yeah, I have like 67 or something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, because you're getting to the point now where I would divest from the attack power magic attack one. That one just doesn't scale as well as all the other stuff does. And then the main thing, I don't know if you already know this, but the main thing when it comes to scaling with reboot and non-reboot is you get a lot of % damage, right, for leveling.
Yeah,
So-
I know that.
Yeah, so that means that the boss damage lines aren't necessarily as good as you might be used to in
No,
in
definitely
non-reboot.
not.
Yeah. You still usually like what your weapon's secondary emblem looks like endgame usually for reboot is like as much attack as possible on the weapon. 2 lines attack, 1 line boss on the secondary, and then 1 line IED, 2 line attack on the emblem, or as much attack instead of those lines that are not attack as your kit will allow, of course. But that mostly is dictated by how good are your familiars and how good is your link and your legion. Once those are on point, that's when you can start going like full on attack. But of course, that's way more expensive, right? And you have the huge downside of if you roll the perfect stats for a different class, you can just trade it with someone. You have to roll over that, and that's where a lot of the added frustration can come from, because you're gonna get other stats way more than you're gonna get your own stats. So and then outs, you have to roll all over that. So I think you can get crit rate. If I had to guess, you could get to something like 8 crit rate, and then maybe go a little bit lower on the crit damage since it's not being applied anyway, right? So I would go a little bit lower there. So like maybe like to 5 or to 6, and then get the ID also at least to 8, maybe up to 9, and then the damage and boss damage, keep those at 8, and then if you have points left over, just go between crit rate and IED for now. I try to like approach that 100% crit rate. You don't have to be exactly on it, of course. And then once the Beast Tamer link comes in, once the Night Lord and the Marksman come in, also when the Marksman
start taking away from those other sources.
Yeah, exactly. Take away from the links first if you can, and to like fill all those up. But of course, only with skills that are improvements. Do you have the Mercedes and the Aaron as well?
I do not.
Okay, those are good, solid experience links as well. That will.
I've just been
fast track. Yeah.
When it comes to Mercedes, at least, I've just been dreading kind of the idea of making one right now because they seem so fucking weak.
Yeah. So there's 2 things about that. One thing is that usually when people make a Mercedes, it's as their very first character, because everyone's like, oh, you have to make a Mercedes because the experience link. And that's all well and good, but that also means that when everyone plays it, you play them at their absolute weakest, which gives you a horrible impression of how strong they actually are. They're actually not that bad. You just have to like not fall into the trap of like trying to do all the weird combos, which makes it really slow in the beginning. You basically just jump around with that one, that jump shot where you like jump in the air and then you shoot below you.
2 shots or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the butterfly one?
Yeah, I don't know what it's. The name escapes me right now. Yeah,
like the green and red one.
Yeah, exactly. And you just jump around. You just jump around and spam that, and you can 2-shot leaf tornado. Yeah, leaf tornado, whatever it's called. I think it's changed name a few times. But you should be able to 2-shot with that very quickly. And you just jump, do that. There was also a meme, I think, about putting it on a macro instead, so that sometimes it triggers the second time before you land, and then that can speed up your process as well. You just like take a macro and you put Leaf Tornado on there twice, and you just jump, press the macro. And that will make the character, a bit more boring, but a lot less complicated. And that should be
I don't
like.
care about the like boring whatever.
Yeah.
I'm training it to like 140. It's not a big deal. It won't take much time.
Yeah, exactly. But those, so the Aaron and that one, and then the Zero, those will together with your Evan round out your experience buff. So that will start fast tracking all the other ones. And then once you're running Zakuman like if you're really going fast, you're going to be running Zakuma like 10, 12 characters a day. But there's going to be so many levels every single day, and basically for free, you just walk in, and you don't have to get the Eye of Time the Eye of Fire anymore, right? You just walk in, and then that saves so much time too. Like back in the day, doing that on 40 characters twice a day was like that was almost longer than the actual boss fights. Yeah, getting the eyes from the Adobis, picking the third option, then the second option.
I still do it out of habit.
I sometimes do as well. Like I'm on him, like no, I don't have to. Trying to like stop myself from my muscle memory from taking over there. But it's like endless gains to be made with the Legion. And then because of how are you familiar with the whole thing I have about flame scores?
Yeah, I understand how to like calculate flame score and all that stuff.
Because the main thing about this whole progression grid, I don't know if you're watching this stream right now.
I am.
Yeah, the main thing about all of this is not to like teach you how the game works, but to like show you the differences with non-reboot, because you have played the game, but you've played like a different game kind of. It's like in the same universe, but the balance is just completely different. So I think getting more familiarized with this and just like generally adhering to these numbers will give you a better clue of like how far you are and how strong you actually are in the game, because the numbers that you're used to making sense won't actually make the same sense anymore, right? So it's good to know that you in some cases, if you were whaling through non-reboot, you were probably very overpowered there. So
probably.
Like realistically, if you were half as strong, you probably could have still done the same content. It would have taken longer, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So for reboot, you have like the right mindset, I guess, then for reboot, because you do need to min-max all of your sources of damage a lot more. But that's to get to that point where you would be with like half the upgrade on reboot. That's when you get to that point of strength. So you are required to upgrade further, and you with the same. If you reach like 90% of your capacity in reboot, you're probably like at the same point where if you reach like 45% of your capacity in non-reboot, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're looking at min-maxing way more within the sources you have, because we have fewer sources. So that does mean generally that we do things a bit earlier in reboot, and it can be a bit harder. But again, if you're getting like carries through those early things, you can forget both of those. The one other thing that's really big is the difference in level penalty between monsters. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed that, because like normally I would go to train at like Drake's at like level 40.
Yeah, you just deal one damage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a grid on this on what the exact numbers are. But there's a huge difference between reboot and non-reboot. So you're kind of forced to level more the monsters with your level. So for non-reboot, if you're 5 levels higher than a monster, you get 20% final damage increase. And for reboot, it only goes up to 10%. That's the highest multiplier. And then if you're at the level in reboot, you get 0% damage multiplier, no plus, no minus. If you're in non-reboot, you get 10% final damage just for being on the level. And then, say in non-reboot, if you're 10 levels below, you take 25% final damage reduction. And in reboot, 10 levels is 50%. And like 20 levels, you deal nothing. Whereas in non-reboot, I think it scales to 30. Oh no, it scales to level 40 even. Like at 20 levels, you're only dealing half your damage, but in reboot, you're dealing 0. So this is the main reason why generally will boss fights are done very late compared to Lucid. People will start doing Lucid pretty quickly because you have enough arcane power. You know, you just start going in. As long as you have Golem clear, you can mow her down. But before you're like 245, you don't really have a chance even on normal will, because he is level 250. So that's something that gets pushed way, way further.
Yeah, that's definitely different. Or that's gonna be different.
And it's a problem because generally you'd like the same party for Lucid and Will. But a lot of people will be just used to not running Will for so long that people might be very hesitant to actually start doing Will, because they're so comfortable just doing Lucid, and they're like, oh, this is going to be so much harder. And it is. So sometimes it takes like a little bit of a push and a little bit of a motivation and spurring on of someone in the party to be like, hey, let's try normal will, like let's get that guy going too, because you definitely want to practice normal will at least like 5 times before you even try hard will, because
Yeah.
if you go into hard will straight up, you know the difference, right, between normal and hard. Like the moonlight is is astronomical difference.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
I've done it before. I've done it before.
if you're even remotely used to how much moonlight you can get, you have to get used to like
Yeah.
not using moonlight at all in normal, so that you can even start doing hard. So yeah, hopefully you can find a party. Maybe you have people within the guild already lined up who are like willing to go that direction.
Yeah, the guilds is like they're like ahead of me. Like they're doing like will and lucid and stuff, but I don't think they're like to the point where they're doing hard will. But it seems like everybody collectively is kind of progressing pretty fast.
Okay, that's good.
So,
Especially now in winter, probably people are playing a little bit more and getting
Yeah,
their
for
terror
sure.
burns and their links and everything. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, and once you make the 0, that's gonna create some extra IED for you as well.
yeah.
Okay, so between the emblem, familiars, hyperstats, legion, and the 0, I think that's gonna get you over the initial bump for IED.
Yeah.
Then later, of course, it'll be like filling out your legion and then min-maxing your links, and then the like the mage link. Oh yeah, for those, do you know like what all the new links do? The explorer links?
I just know like the pirate ones, they just give you a bunch of all stats now. But like it's not they don't like scale with percent stat, right?
Yeah, no, they don't.
So then that's kind of shit.
Yeah, they give reduced damage, but it doesn't work on percentage damage sources, so that's really unfortunate. It's a good like legion link to just throw in. It's a lot of stat, so that scales pretty well early on. So you can use it. You can use that in the Cygnus link, for example, if you have those to just stack onto a new legion mule, and then they will get a lot stronger from early level.
Yeah, that will be good for them. For sure.
Because obviously all of the IED and the boss damage is completely lost on them. So just for like a grinding link, it can be pretty useful. But that's only if you don't have like 12 other ones that already give you damage and stuff that can be better. Because for HoYoung, it's pretty hit and miss when you're training if you whether you move a lot or not, right? Because I've seen some videos where someone just stands in one spot.
Fully stationary.
Yeah,
some
exactly.
maps you like me personally. On some maps, I'm just fucking flying around everywhere.
I like the more engaged mobbing as well, where it just feels like I'm in I'm in the thick of it. I'm earning my keep, and it's not just like I'm standing here. Everything dies.
Yeah, for sure. Like I don't know, because I've played all kinds of mobbers. Like I played Pathfinder, played Aaron, played Night Lord, Dual Blade. Like all of those up until like 230 level mobbing plus, and yeah, HoYoung definitely is just the most engaged for me by far.
That's
just
good.
Like, Pathfinder, I don't know, that one like literally just brain dead.
Yeah,
I
if
would just lose my fucking mind.
I would have guessed that you would have said that about Pathfinder. Yeah, it's pretty much in line with my expectation. Yes. Wait. So what were we talking about? Oh yeah. So that would impact like whether you use the Ilium link, for example. That would be either it would be completely useless or it'd be really fucking good. I think though, even if you're stationary, you do like those kind of hops and everything in your attack, right?
Yeah.
You could throw in some real attacks.
Like one of the combos with the fan, you do like jump up, and I'm pretty sure that counts for Ilium Link.
Yeah. So if you keep spamming, I believe you move enough to keep the stacks up.
I think I could definitely say that safely that there's enough movement in HoYoung's kit, like even during bossing, that Ilium Link would definitely be good.
Okay. Yeah, so that could be one that we that you move up a little bit specifically for you, because that is 12%. That's always nice, of course. And then Arc, Demon, Avenger, like those are all very, very useful, of course.
Yeah.
But you already had the DA. I guess the main thing. Is there anything else that you like to hear something about before we get into specifically equips?
Let me think real quick. B matrix down pretty much. Hyperstats, I get the idea now where I want to go with that. IED and crit. So I guess real quick then with inner ability. So as you saw, I have the second line there, And I tried getting that when it was 50% off. I tried getting, you know, my 20% boss line.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm thinking to myself, like, since I'm not going to be making a Kana farmer, and honestly, like it in terms of progression right now, the boss damage just isn't necessary because I'm not doing any crazy bosses. So like, do you
Mm-hmm.
think I should maybe go for 20% Mesa or 20% drop, something like that?
Yeah, that would be a good intermediary. I have the same on my arc because I also don't rely on boss damage, don't rely on attack speed. And that's what my arc has as well. I got like 19 meso, 15 drop rate, and then I actually lucked into 21 attack on the third line. So, and I have like 8.5 mil honor experience now. Like I've had that for a long time, and then I'm planning to change that. As long as I'm leveling, I'm keeping that because it is good to not be reliant on your inner ability for your actual damage output. That gives you so much more freedom to get utility out of that when training. Yeah, I think that's definitely
Yeah.
a good choice. Yeah.
Also, though, even kind of random, I guess, but so there's some HoYoung on YouTube who's like 275, and on the optimal inner charts, it was saying like 20% boss would be the best, but I asked him like in his comments, and he was saying that plus one
On
on your
passives.
skills would be good because like
Yeah.
it gives us final damage,
Mm-hmm.
like just a bunch of stuff. But I don't really know which outweighs what.
Yeah, it might be a difference between reboot, non-reboot, maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
the 20.
he's not reboot though, so
Yeah. Hmm. Oh,
and
I would have expected
boss
it the other
damage,
way
I
around.
guess.
Hmm.
Like if I don't want to be sacrificing a line on my weapons, like secondary or emblem,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess boss damage might just be necessary.
Yeah, I guess
But
they also have bonus potential that they can get more damage from, right?
yeah, they do have bonus bots and all that jazz.
I don't know. The +1 sounds really good though. If you, because that's basically all the new classes that came out. They've really like you have like front loaded and these are like back loaded power spikes where you get like increased damage to all of your skills and like percentage points, right? You have those passives, and then you have final damage on top of that. That makes me feel like you're kind of in the same situation as Arc, who also has that. And
Yeah,
I know that for Arc, the +1 passive skills is also considered the best. But I don't
looks
know
like
if
people
the
in the chat are saying so. Yeah, I guess I'll take his word for it.
+1 best in slot and then crit and buff duration. Yeah, that sounds like what you would want. Where is HoYoung here?
I think between
Mm-hmm.
Beast Tamer Link and like Night Lord and Marksman uh on the Legion board and stuff, I think I'll be covered with crit and sharp eyes.
Yeah, yeah, and then and then if you can lock into some kind of crit rate in your inner ability much later on, once you have the +1 and your buff duration, and then if you're locking that and re-rolling and you somehow magically happen to roll into like 10% crit or something, then you can
Yeah,
start switching out. But I think the main thing is going to be once you have your Legion like all set up, you'll have so much mobility, well flexibility there that you can move around with.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I guess that's it for that. And then I just as a summary in terms of what I should be focusing on right now, make just a bunch of Legion mules pretty much.
Yep.
Get them to level 100, then start doing Zakum, and once Terror Burning comes out, Terror Burn the Beast Tamer.
Yeah, if there's any class that you definitely are just gonna hate, then just skip it for now and then leave it for like a mega burn or something.
I think I'm gonna hate it, and especially the fact that it's like a good level 3 link. I think it's a solid choice for me.
Yep, sounds good.
So yeah.
It's also really good for your Legion mules, so you have the extra 10% crit that you can move on there.
Yeah. And the boss, of course, not to mention.
Yep,
So.
not to mention, yeah, for sure. What was I gonna say about that?
So yeah, other than that, pretty much, I guess, the the biggest question of progression as of now is equips. Yeah, I'm definitely stuck on how I should be spending my money right now,
Yeah,
and
you're going straight for hard lucid, hard will, basically, right? That's what you're aiming for.
pretty much.
So to go back to what I said before, I think what will be realistic is, especially with a HoYoung who like knows what they're doing, once your Legion and links everything comes in, I think when it comes to the Abzo stuff, And the CRA well, the CRA stuff you can go beyond, right? Because it doesn't seem like even if you get a new equip set now in KMS that somehow challenges the CRA meta, that's going to be at least like a year out for us. So in that year, you're going to need gear anyway. So
yeah, and even then, like, it's not like the top and bottom would be bad by any means. So I'm perfectly fine.
They would have to throw some crazy set bonus or some absolute crazy other top and bottom set to like beat this out. So
yeah, also I swear they're always doing like overalls and shit. So
yeah, since CRA everything has been overall. Yeah, I mean an overall can be better, but it needs to be just so overpowered. Like I think in TMS there's one, right, that has like 30 boss, 30 IED base stats, and has like 200 weapon attack on it or something. Like that's the only way you can get better, because you have to overcome 3 extra lines of potential, all of the extra bonus stars, the extra flame.
Yeah. Especially on main servers, just overall is just garbage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you have all the double bonus pod as well.
Like, another 6 lines of potential.
Yeah. Double prime scrolling. It's that's nutty. Yeah. So CRA is pretty safe to just go ham, go all the way, but you need to be clearing CRA every week to get like a bunch of backups, right? So you don't have to safeguard.
Yeah.
In general, use 30% off to get to 15, and then I don't know if you did that. I don't know what Star Force they are right now.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with the Star Force yet. But so
yeah, there's like ideal scenario and there's
like Pencilier overall to the CRA.
So you can. The only time that I would do that is kind of if you have like a lot of money and you don't have any backups, then I would do that. It's one of those things where it's a little bit more expensive than star forcing on the item itself, but because you front load the risk onto items that you have backups for, you're kind of like paying the premium for the safety on the final item.
Yeah. Okay, no, never mind.
That is what I like. I like doing that in general, but I typically don't like doing that for Rudibus, because I think in the beginning the risk isn't really there to warrant that premium, and then once you get further, the risk, the value isn't there at all, because you'll have so many backups that at that point you just want to go straight up, right? Because if you can get to 21 Pencilier, that means you would have also had a 21 CRA, but it just would have cost you a little bit more. But in the first situation, you have to transfer over and you're stuck with a 20 versus a 21. And in the second situation, you paid a little bit more, but you have a 21. And in that point, it makes more sense to Star Force on the item itself.
Right.
Where it does make sense, I think, is to transfer into Abzo, because if you're going past 17 Abzo, or or even 217 Abzo, you're basically safeguarding there, because all of the weeklies take forever to recharge. To get all of the backup items, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you get the drops from Lotus and Damien, but you have to go back doing the weeklies on maybe a bunch of characters, transfer it over. It's a whole thing. For that, usually I save up level 150 items and then get those 30% off. Get those to 15.
I haven't been able to like get to that yet, because I can't do CZAC and cape and
CZAC for cape. Yeah.
You need like antique gloves or something that's Rudibus for.
Yeah, so the items, the ideal items would be the Rude boots from Rudibus, the gloves that you get from the castle, the Magnus Castle in the black market there. Then the cape from Zakum, the shoulders from Ranmaru that you're running now. So remember to hold on to those if you get them.
Yeah, I just like realized I could beat Hard Ranmaru, because I didn't know before, so I just started clearing.
He's really good daily if you can unlock on multiple characters as well, because he has the highest flame drop rate in the game.
Yeah.
So it's a really.
And also in regards to the CRA and worrying about the safeguard, one of my guildies also, he has like fucking absurd amounts of drops. So like I just get so many emblems. Like I usually get like 2 pieces per.
Oh yeah.
Per rock, something absurd. So I guess it's not too much of a concern then. I guess I could just like throw out that Pencilier.
Yeah, you could just when it comes to like Pencilier and stuff, I like to extract always.
I haven't even gotten into the whole.
Yeah, with traits and everything. Yeah, it's like one of the ways that you can make some money, because the other. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. The other major difference between Reboot and non-Reboot is the price, like the NPC value for some items. It'll be completely different for some items than you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Some items might be completely useless in non-reboot, and they might have high value here, and vice versa. So you probably already know about spell traces, right? You just NPC them for
Yeah.
5k. That's probably something you can't do in non-reboot, right? I don't think they
Yeah, no,
NPC for
it's not.
5k there. Primal essences NPC for 10 mil. I don't know if that's the same. And
I
then,
don't think they do in main server.
then
Definitely not.
you
They definitely
probably don't want to NPC them though, right? Because you want to make your Meister rings.
Yeah, I have one and I've been saving it.
Yeah, definitely save that.
Yeah.
Pieces of time are 500k. Rocks of time are 1 mil, and then confusion fragments and dream fragments are like I think 1 mil or 1.5 mil each to NPC. So you can get some value out of that. And then one of the other things is the Philosopher stones that you get from extracting your gear. Those NPC for 300k each.
Yeah.
And those are
Yeah, I
pretty
saw something
common.
about that.
Yeah, those are pretty common on like you can technically get them at 105 gear and higher, but unless your gear is at least 130, they're not gonna like the chance is super low. So anything that's like below 130, usually I NPC, and then 130 or higher, I usually extract, because the odds for the philosophers are pretty good, and at 300k a pop. But you can get up to 4 from one item when you extract. It makes the value, the expected value compared to NPCing about tenfold if you extract instead.
Yeah, that's like 1.2 mil per item. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's not guaranteed, of course. You'll get, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you'll also get is you'll get a bunch of advanced crystals and superior crystals, and then you can use those for crafting later on. Once you have a pile of those, the worst thing is that when you want to start crafting something, you have no materials, and then you have to start getting them all. Is like super annoying. But if you slowly build up over time, then you'll have a huge pile, and if you want to make something, you just grab from the pile and you're immediately done. And you're kind of you're kind of like shifting the the work over a longer period of time so that you don't have to pile it all in one time and like highly redirect your focus, but you can just slightly
Yeah, I've
redirect
been
it.
hoarding all of the like heart crystals and
Oh yeah, inventory must be quite
legendary
full
things.
because
Yeah, I've just
the
been hoarding all that shit. So
little bit of everything. Yeah, you'll need some of that stuff later. So some of the if in general, like any of the big flowers and big veins you see, always harvest those. It's very important. Alchemy at level 6 would be advisable. That's when you can extract and fuse levels of items of all levels. So that's very useful. And we don't have the weird extractor for like recipes and scrolls and stuff. That doesn't exist here. So if it's a recipe for something you don't like, you basically just chuck it, or you can double click it and save it for a rainy day, I guess. But yeah, Philosopher Stones, that's like a nice extra income. So between Maple Tour, Ursus, and extracting boss crystals, mainly it's going to be just from training and then by spending at the opportune moments. So I think aiming for 17 Abzo with your existing knowledge of the mechanics and everything, I foresee, and what I'm getting like as a vibe from you is that I think like arcane stuff is gonna be definitely possible for you. So I would start already like planning ahead for that and start saving for that. So I wouldn't go beyond 17-star Abzo basically.
yeah, definitely. I think
Which
even then the bosses are like doable. I'm pretty sure like normal Lucid is probably like definitely doable. 17-star rep, so
yeah, but I've been running with people like where some people have like 17-star Abzo with good potential and good flames, and they can run the hard bosses too, or Lucid Hard Will.
yeah, exactly. Like I definitely wouldn't go past 17 on that.
So that means like ideal path. Well, so there'd be two paths that would be relatively close because 17 isn't that crazy. It would either be just safeguarding during 30% off to 15, and then waiting for a 5, 10, 15 to finish it off. Or if you like don't have the item yet, if you have a 150, then just hopefully you have some backups, not safeguard, like go straight up to 15. And then wait for 5, 10, 15, go to 16, switch 16, 17 on the Abzo. Those would be like the two main ways of doing that. And then, not investing. So what you can do if you have Abzo prior, you can pre-flame because that doesn't get transferred over, right? So you can already work on the flames, because aside from Abzo, you don't really have anything that really needs to be hardcore flame now. That's definitely where you can make the most gains. Maybe your cup, because I see it's blue. I'm gonna assume that it has.
The cup flame shit. It's like 3% all stat or something.
Yeah, probably has some all stat, jump, speed, maybe a little bit of attack. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because anything else, it immediately turns into either like green or magenta. So.
Kind of random. Also, by the way, I don't know why my speed is so low. It's so low. It's like 134 or something.
Your character moves slowly?
Yeah, like the like speed stat.
Is
ridiculous.
What is the max for your character? Is it 140 or is it?
It's 160. I'm pretty sure.
Well, one thing that gives you a lot of speed is I think higher star boots.
Yeah, that is the thing. I have some starless.
Yeah, like my boots are 12 star and they give me 17 speed. And this is like a level 120 shoe on my mule. That's giving me. Yeah, this guy's capping at 140, so. Yeah, just some stars on boots will very quickly get that problem fixed for you.
Yeah, okay, so that will come with the Abso, I guess.
Yep. Or if you pre-star the root shoes and then move into it, then you could. I mean, you could already wear them, right? I mean, if they're high stars, they might even be as good or maybe even better than what you already have.
A quick question. So in the update that's coming right now, like, are normal Lotus and Damien gonna drop Abso, or only hard?
Only hard. The only thing they're adding is that the current already drop rate of Umbra gear and of pitch boss set items, that those drop rates are going up.
Okay, yeah.
And then in KMS, what they're changing is they're adding the Umbra, all of the equip Umbra drop to the hard Tenebris bosses, so to like Gloom, Darknell, Ferris Hill, and Black Mage.
Yeah.
It'd be really weird though, dropping a Umbra equip from the Black Mage to people who are like running around with liberated Genesis weapon and like 21 star. Well, some people are actually it makes sense, because there are a few people actually in Reboot now who are just running on like 20 star Abzo, that are running Black Mage. So it will help them move into full arcane. Makes sense, because you probably need to get arcane gear for all of the bosses that are coming in like level 280, 290 areas. You probably want.
Yeah, it's gonna get to a point where you need it.
Yeah.
Or like lab won't be good enough.
You would have to have like full 22 Abzo everything and all the other items like completely decked out, I think, if you want to get the damage. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen the videos of non-Reboot, like the Arc killing Hard Will. I don't know if you saw that one.
I have not.
Basically, he has like a 5-man party with just max buffs, right? But it is still KMS, so they don't have Kana, but they have like a bishop with benediction. They've got a battle mage in there. They got a blaze wizard. You know, they got wild hunter. I think like they got all of the buffs on him. He has every single buff that you can possibly think of, and he's phase 3 hard will, and he puts that eternally hungry beast down, and then he binds him so that the HP gets locked, and then he goes into abyssal recall, and like he caps, it gets poisoned, so he doubles his damage, right? And then he caps the 150 bill lines on the final explosion of abyssal recall, and basically Will just like gets out of the bind and just instantly vanishes, and like
it's ridiculous.
He just dies in the all of the bind damage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But like capping 150 bill lines is just, it's a factor of 15 is actually massive, because if usually it takes 4 minutes and it now takes a 15th of the time, basically means it takes 24 seconds, right? It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe even less.
The damage cap is
15,
crazy.
4 seconds. It's 16 seconds. Yeah, it takes 16 seconds. It's like, whoa. But of course, like non-Reboot is gonna be going for that. But for Reboot, it's mainly just a few classes that cap very early, like a Hayato or something. Those are gonna be like jumping for joy, because they can finally scale. You know, it's like finally there's room to scale.
I mean, I've heard HoYoung even caps like pretty early.
Yeah, it'll definitely depend on your team composition. If you're running with like both a bishop and a Kana, for example, you can start capping super early.
Yeah.
Like Marksman capped pretty early because they did, their attack speed is
Yeah,
very
of
slow,
course.
so they had high percentages. They alleviated some of that, but it's still decently quick to cap these days. So yeah, those classes are disproportionately going to see a huge amount. Angelic Buster, yeah, doesn't have that many lines.
Oh yeah, Angelic Buster's gonna be busted.
Yep. Yeah, there's gonna be some good stuff. Arc was actually capping on a bunch of our skills. Some of that is getting fixed with the upcoming changes before summer, where
Yeah.
a lot of the things that are capping are just gonna we
The
just make it
lines.
hit 5 times instead, because
Yeah.
we can't even go up in lines anymore. We're already capped on lines, so it's like we'll just activate 5 times. Then that'll that'll give you some extra damage. Yeah, so they are working on that, but I wonder if the 150 bill cap is gonna stay, because I feel like that's gonna really change it. That's a really big increase. I don't know, maybe like 25 bill or 50 bill is what I was expecting,
We
but
went from 50 mil to 10 bill. Man, that was crazy.
yeah. Now that I think about it, that was
That was crazy.
that was
Like
a
at the
pretty big
time,
increase
nobody
too.
was even close to the cap.
Yeah, people were hitting like a few hundred mil, I think, at the highest.
You know,
Yeah, some people hitting like 400 or 500 mils, I think.
I know there was one guy like, I don't know if I guess if reboot people even knew about him. He was like his name was like his IGN was Santa or something. Absurd player from Barra, like absolutely absurd. And when the damage cap was removed, this guy was like a huge whale. He was hitting like 1 bills.
That was
It's like
it like a
totally different.
specific one skill that hit like an insane amount of damage or something?
No. This was like a dual blade, just hitting that on Phantom Blow.
Oh, okay. Just on Phantom Blow, okay.
Just an actual absurd person.
But imagine your damage going times 20, like, because of a patch. That's actually insanely crazy.
It is.
But
It
how
is.
much were you overfunded at that point, Like that.
Oh no, this person was beyond overfunded. Like it was literally just a flex of how much like stat they could have.
I just remember that Nova Mystical guy who just like, I don't know, there were like a lot of rumors circling around, but I know that guy spent like insane amounts of money. He would basically pay the strongest people in the game to just pay them like a weekly fee to be in his guild, so that he could like have the prestige of having all the strongest people. And he would just buy them. Some people got offered like 30-50 bucks a week just to be in his guild, and people were just doing it as a side hustle, and he was just paying all of them. And he was like insanely strong too. Like he just brute force everything with a bunch of
Some
money.
hidden whales out there.
Yeah, oh
Hidden
yeah, for sure.
whales.
Yeah, so equip wise, honestly, if you're only going up to 17, a lot of times I'd say just safeguard on the Abzo and just do it straight up on the Abzo. I think the whole transferring meme is mainly if you want to go past 15, because that's when you really need to front load that risk onto all the shitter items. But yeah, so if there's a 5, 10, 15 coming, definitely just use that to Star Force. 10 to 11 is going to fail a lot. 15 to 16 being free is a godsend. I would save up for that. How close are you to getting your Abzo?
Well, as of I literally haven't even done a Lomian run yet.
Okay.
I did just do the freeze, so like this next reset, I'm gonna start doing it every week.
Right, and did you have some of the weekly items saved up?
Yeah, I've done the weeklies I think twice so far for each.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to speed that up, remember that you can share the items through the cache through the storage with multiple characters.
I'm probably gonna start doing that because my Evan, I've been using my Evan as like a mule to cap coins because I was like trying to get the android and the damage skin, and he like now he like got to 170 accidentally, so I'm thinking I may as well just get him to 200.
Yeah, 210 Evan Link is very good because we do have that Sunny Sunday where you get extra, you get like faster runes, and that does stack very well with the Evan Link, so that's very useful.
Yeah, it's just a good link overall. I can turn him into a Scrapyard and Dark World Tree Mule.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just that's something. It's like I've already invested into him a good amount of time. May as well just complete it.
So you might be in between. You might be in between 5, 10, 15s then, because they did announce it. That means that the 5, 10, 15 is coming in the next 4 weeks. So I don't know if you'll have Abzo ready by then.
I
What
think
you?
I could have like at least one or
Yeah, at
two
least one.
pieces.
Yeah, maybe 2 pieces. Yeah.
Definitely one. Definitely one.
The other Star Force event that comes around every now and then is the 1+1 up to 10. That could be very like cheap to get your stuff up to 15 as well. Between that and a 30% off, they're roughly equivalent to get to 15. 30% off is a bit cheaper, but it's pretty close. But again, if you're only going up to 17, like I would definitely do the 15 to 17 during a 5, 10, 15, but up to 15 you could even do that off event. You could power through that a little bit, because if you're going to be stopping at 17 anyway and start saving then, you could spend a little more money getting to 15, but that's not going to hurt you overall. The main damage is going to come from the 15 to 17, and then from having okay flames and from getting your potential up. So the sooner you can start moving into that gear, the sooner you can start settling into the position where you would be once you were fully upgraded. Yeah, like you could do the flaming like preemptively, but if you can start doing the potentialing and everything, they can already move into the set bonus, start getting used to that. Start thinking about the weapon, and then for the weapon you just go hard on the flame. That's super important there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's at the same time, like, also I feel like I can't just get too greedy with this whole like waiting until arcane thing. Because yeah, that is undeniably, like, there is a time cap on that.
Yeah, and you'll see that the monsters around your level are just they're gonna start not dying as quickly anymore.
Yeah, and right now it's not like I'm even one-shotting mobs. I'm like two-shotting them for the most part. And,
yeah, that still gets you very far. But if you move into the new area as soon as it's available, remember, because of the level difference penalty, on top of the fact that you're technically like under-geared, right? Those two, and the faster you go, the more your arcane power is going to be behind. All of those things combined are going to make it that you can't really move on to the next area when it's available.
Right.
So yeah, so don't wait too long on those. But yeah, you're kind of time gated, of course, by the weeklies and by the drops from Lotus and Damien. But if you're getting carries from someone who gets a lot of items to drop there, then that shouldn't be the main problem. The main problem will be getting enough weeklies done.
Yeah. Oh, also, so another thing with items. So, like in regards to Commercy.
Sure.
So I've been doing that and grinding it a bit, and now I have about like a little over 400 coins. So I'm thinking, like, what is my next step here? Like, because I could technically just make an item, like a finished item, like, you know, the Sweetwater transpose pendant, or I could just, you know, obviously just go for the tattoo or the monocle, because like I do need that.
Currently using the 7 set bonus, right? The boss accessory set?
Yeah, I think I have the 7 set bonus.
Yeah.
Right now.
So yeah, this again, like most people will aim for the 9 set bonus. They will get the Crystal Ventus badge and get the Royal Black Metal Shoulder for the 9 set for the extra 10 boss, and then you basically keep that until you move into Superior Galax, which is super far down the road. But if you're getting daily carries there, you might get fast tracked into that as well. So they'll get sped up. There's still good value in investing in most of these things because they can eventually get drop gear, become drop or meso gear. The other thing is there's a lot of value in just having 2 monocles, 2 tattoos, because if one gets the potential that you wanted on the other, on the other function, you can just swap them out and then just recube the other one, and then there's not really a lot lost. In general, again, and we're kind of on the what's the word? We're like on the first day of like the new era where we don't know how much that drop rate is really going to increase for the Pepilatus Mark for the pitch boss set, if that is going to become very common or not. So in general, there are 2 approaches, right? You just you just mass the Narrows on like one of the first few voyages, and you just buy the accessories, and then you buy extra if you need to. The other one is you level up your boat first so that you can max out how many how many items you can take along, and you can get your energy boosted, and then you just mass your first voyage, and then eventually, because of boom chances, because of gains, because of everything, you eventually get to the finish line faster if you're going for like anything 19 star or beyond on Sweetwater accessories. The second way of doing it is faster, but you need that initial investment to level up your boat. You need the Narrows for that, and then
I guess I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, so I would plan for that long run, but do remember that if for some reason the drop rate for the pitch boss sets items goes up by so much, and you get to the point where you can join these hard Damien Hard Lotus parties, then you might just like have to abandon that other idea as well. But the thing is, it'll still, I think, be more reliable to get high Star Force Sweetwater accessories than, because the amount of Star Force you'll have to get to, you'll probably have to get to 20 or 21 still on the pitch boss set for it to be worth, and there's a good chance you blow those up and don't get that. So it'll still be more reliable for the long term. Yeah,
I'm willing to place my bets that it's not going to be like a massive increase in drop rate either.
Even if it's times 5 or something, that
like, 22 starring the gear.
No, exactly. Even if it's like 5 times the drop rate, or like 4 times, that still means that, wow, instead of getting like 1 in 2 years, now you get 1 in 6 months. Like that's now 4 times the drop, but it doesn't mean that somehow it's like hugely accessible now. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's more like that as well. Yeah,
it's not like client-sided drops either, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's it's shared, so because it's like a shared equip. So
I don't think I'd be the person to prioritize picking it up. So
it'll take a while.
Not like something I'm looking at as.
So just level up the boat to level 3 to Dreadnought, and then just spam your first voyage just 12 times a day. Then your dailies get cut down to just 6 minutes a day, and then you just power through that. And then once your boat is fully upgraded, then you can start buying the accessories. Whether you start upgrading these before that point or not, that's kind of up to you, how much damage you feel like you need. But I think in general, just having 2 tattoos, two monocles, so that you can swap if you get like a good line on the other one, that's pretty beneficial.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be an extra like 1.2k dineros, I think, and then you're also starting to stack for the transposed pendant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so that, sorry, I don't recall if you said this, so should I prioritize getting the monocle and tattoo first?
I would do that because they come as epic, and then at that point you're going to be looking at plus, like 15 plus stars, so the star gain on 160 plus gear is very good, and the potential will give you the 13 and the 10 lines, so that'll be very nice. The pendant, like the transposing and the upgrading there, that'll all be well and good. But you're mainly looking into transposing once you're like full superior set, basically, once everything else is kind of like checked out, because at that point you're going to be completely moving out of the boss accessory set, and you want to see if you can like move out of that as a whole. But the eye and the face together is the 2 pieces, so you just drop down 1 set bonus. But then once you start switching out the ring and the earring, then the whole set kind of like falls apart. The only thing you're holding on to at that point is the cup, basically, and maybe the badge, and that's it.
Yeah, and I did just get the Magnus badge recently, so.
Yeah, so at that point you can hold on to like badge, cup, and then the Dominator for a while, because then the set bonus for the Dominator still kicks in, so it keeps like its value going a little bit longer, and then when everything else is fixed, you look at transposing that as well.
Right. So another question in regards to the items thing is like, what do I get that's Abso, and what do I keep that's like Fafnir in my set? And then when I get an arcane weapon and all that shit. Like, so all I know obviously is that I'm just gonna be keeping the Fafnir top and bottom.
Yeah, for sure.
When it comes to Abso, like, what do I want? Because would it be worth it to just work on a Fafnir weapon if I'm gonna just replace an Abso one immediately? Like, make a budget Fafnir weapon, kind of.
Yeah, you can make budget Fafnir work on Star Force and then just transfer hammer it into the Abso. That's what you could do.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You can keep it up. Well, you can probably get it to unique. I think you probably need that damage because all the other stuff is getting a little bit gimped, right? And then it'll just go down back to epic. But yeah, Star Force goes -1, so get it at least to 16. And then when you transfer it over, you'll just start at 15 on the Abso and get it to 17 from there. And then all you have to do is, well, either you reflame it afterwards, or you can pre-flame it, of course, if you already have the item lying around. The only other thing that's really like an issue is the hat, right? So typically now you keep 4 Fafnir, then you move into 5 Abso, so you get the shoe, glove, cape, shoulder, and then the weapon. And that'll be your 5 set, because the 6 set is not very good. So you keep that 5 set with the 3 set CRA with the top, bottom, and the hat. And then if you switch the weapon to arcane, then typically what people do is they switch the hat to the Abso hat to keep that 5-set bonus going, because that 5-set is still better than the 3-set for Fafnir. The only
so
thing,
then pretty much just make a Fafnir hat for now and then transfer to Abso once I get an Abso weapon.
yeah, the one thing is going to depend on how high you get before you transfer to Abso, because the other thing is that once you go into full basically once you go into full Umbra, what people do is they basically just replace all the Abso pieces with Umbra. So you go back into 5 Umbra without the hat, and then you go back to the CRA hat.
Yeah.
Because again, the 6-set Umbra is nice and all, but it's easier to get a very high Star Force CRA hat, and the set bonus doesn't account for the difficulty of getting like a 21-star arcane hat, Umbra hat at this point. And if you
honestly though, since like that's so far down on the road, and either way the CRA hat I'd be making now wouldn't be like something insane, I'm willing to make like a budget one that could transfer to an Abso for now.
Yeah, and then you could remake another one after that. Yeah, and then you'll have way more pieces after that to just go ham on a 5, 10, 15 and just like YOLO it to 22 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that seems right. Or the accessibility of all the other pieces is to such an extent that you happen to get a hat drop or something and you can get it to 19 without it booming, then you don't even bother going back, right? You always want to look at what is the, like, can it be an upgrade? Sure, but how much can it be an upgrade, and how much do I have to spend for it? Because like when the sets change between the transposed earring and the transposed pendant because of the drop table changing from Helix, like I could switch everything around immediately on my characters and I could gain like, I think like 0.5% final damage, but it would cost me like 60 bill. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, yeah, but if there's but now we're kind of forced to change because of the set bonus change. So well, now I have to, and now it's, I guess, technically an upgrade that I'm making, but not willingly. So unless you're really forced to do those things, if push comes to shove, if you do have to switch back over, you'll have so many pieces lying around for CRA that it'll just be like a no-brain. Maybe you even do it during a 30% off, although it just takes so long. There's just so many failures, so many booms, but yeah. I like to do 5 to 15 because you're just done quicker. Either you spend your money quicker or you get to what you want quicker and then you can move on. With 30% off, it just takes forever to spend your money. And time is money, so that ends up costing you.
Yeah.
Other than that, the accessories, you just basically just placeholders and you just keep praying for that Helix drop, right?
Yeah. As of now, like the Helix parties are kind of random whether people want drops or not, but like I'm one of the last few people who like they're willing to just let get drops.
Oh yeah, there's
like,
probably a big line.
I haven't seen a single stop drop yet.
Yeah, no, that's normal. The drop rate seems
incredibly
pretty terrible now.
With coins, what would be the first thing I get?
Probably the ring. I think that's the biggest upgrade for you right now.
Up ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Is there transfer fodder? I have Meisters, I guess, but
yeah, Meister is the transfer fodder there. Yeah. The one thing with the rings that's different now because of the rebuy is that you can fodder solid into both reinforced and Kana treasure.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to risk the Kana treasure all the way up to 19. You could basically quote unquote guarantee it with a 20 solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then past that, that's when you start risking, I guess. You start ring rouletting.
Yeah, the Kana thing scares the shit out of me because I just hate knowing the fact that like you could just lose your best in slot. But
yeah, well, that's why you mitigate the risk, right? If you do blow it up, then you replace it with a 20 solid, and that's pretty much the same. So at that point, you've gone as far as you could. What Jano did, for example, is when Adele came out, because he knew he wanted to main Adele, he just kept remaking Adele's, and he just kept throwing money into try to 22-star his Kana, and if it blew up, he just remade his character.
That's crazy.
And then,
that is dedication.
I think he spent the whole day remaking it like 8 times or something, and then when he got his 22, then he started playing the character and leveling it up. So he was behind in the beginning, but I mean, he already had his 22-star Kana treasure, which no one could ever take away from him. So, I mean, if you have the option to do that, like that's obviously like the best move, right?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's thinking way ahead.
yeah. Because he was a blaster for a long time, but he was like very disillusioned with it. So he's like, okay, I need a new character. Dell's coming out. That shit's gonna be strong as fuck. So he had the whole thing laid out. And
Yeah.
no doubt people are gonna do like the same thing, the same strategy with every new class that comes out. With like when Kane comes out, people are gonna be
Yeah,
doing that
that
as
makes
well.
sense. Now I feel
Um,
fucking dumb for not doing that, but it's whatever, honestly.
yeah, you wouldn't want to do that because the
Like that for
Dominator you
Miniac
have with that
too, that's
flame.
I can't worry about for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, even if I would do that, I would only go up to 21 anyway, because like that's good enough for me. The extra 1 star on top of
Yeah.
it there is so much extra.
Yeah,
Oof.
it's way too much extra fucking risk for like, barely
Yeah,
benefit.
barely results exactly. Um. Okay. I'm thinking if there's anything else we need to cover. We went over familiars, like that's important for you.
Mhm. So I guess what
Feelings.
like if you could just quickly like summarize and bullet point what would be the main thing I do now and like what do I do with my money now? I know obviously I'm gonna continue training and leveling my main
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna make a bunch of Legion mules, just a huge quantity of them.
Um, money now. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know what the situation with Princess No is, but it's pretty min-maxy to go for the Princess No secondary, right? I don't know if you.
All I know is that it's fucking bugged and
Yeah,
unless you
DC's
like
people
kill
now.
them instantly and honestly my guildmates like they were kind of just like not willing, like they don't want to really, and I'm
Yeah,
like fine with that. So I think I'm just gonna go with the frozen weapon, and
yeah, it's
either way
fine.
I'm not looking for like 3 lines on it right now. If I get two
It's really
lines,
close. Yeah,
I'll settle
exactly.
with that, and then later down the
Um,
road if I want to go for 3 lines, get a Pinot.
yeah, that makes sense. For now, so like the safest things to do now that will definitely always work is like CRA to 15,
Hmm.
weapon eventually to 16, ID line on your emblem, possibly legendary on the secondary, and then seeing if you get at least like a big line of attack and a line of boss there, that would be nice. Familiar's ID, that's a
I could
big
flame
one.
this ERA too, right? The top and bottom, because I decided I'm not gonna
Yes,
transfer.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, flames would help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get decent flame scores there. A lot of sweet water dailies, leveling up your boat. Better flame on the cup probably would be next. Once you get Abzo stuff, you can pre-flame that. I would probably just like Star Force right on the Abzo as well, and get it to
Hmm.
15 at least, and then wait around for the 5, 10, 15 to get it to 17. Duh, 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 duh. Yeah, ring wise, you're just going to be looking for the big new event ring that's coming, Meister ring, and then buying your first superior, and that's pretty much going to round out your set for now. Hoping for superior drops. You already have the badge. Tyrant Cape probably, once you get H-Mag done, that should be soon. There'll
Hmm.
be a nice bump, but that's just a placeholder until the Abzo Cape anyway. Which Abzo Cape is not going to be that much better by itself, but it's mainly the set bonus that makes it better. And then
Yeah.
because of that, you're going to go harder on the flame and the potential, so that's going to make it worth.
Yep.
Have a shoulder, have a glove. Main thing is going to be like for the glove to get that crit damage in. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
If you get lucky with crit damage combined with Sharp Eyes or Speed Infusion or something, that's going to free up a slot in your matrix that will help you a lot. Let you equip an extra node. That would be big. Other than that, you just kind of time gated on the Helix drops. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was definitely thinking. Pretty much, as of now, this is just like a marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, what I usually do is like my accessories are usually already legendary by the point I get to Helix. So then they already have one line of Mez obtain, one line of drop with a line of stat. And then I'm just training faster, making a lot more money while I'm training. And then by the time the Helix gear comes in, I can go super hard on that because I've saved up more money at that point.
Yeah.
And then this stuff just becomes full like retired drop rate meso gear rather than being like in both the sets. Yeah.
Oh, so wait. Yeah. Quickly, that will be like my last question, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like Meso and drop gear, because this is also going to be the character I farm on. What is my direction with that? I guess because as of now, I'm already like two-shotting mobs and choo-choo, so it's not like I'm exactly
Mm-hmm.
super strong.
4 lines of. So you have 9 accessories, right? That can get the lines. So you go for 4 lines of drop. So you maximize bags and droplets and nodes, all that other stuff. And then 5 lines of mezzo. And then if you can get a line of stat along with each one of those, that would be ideal. So if you're cubing for stat plus one of those lines on 9 items, there's like an okay chance that you get at least a double on one of the items. So then you basically just look around that. If it's a double mezzo, you go for 1 more with drop. If it's a double drop, you go for 1 more with mezzo. And then
And dinner ability just settle with the first one, like meso or drop.
Yeah, you'll probably see like 18% mezzo or something like that. I would just keep that. Don't try to min
I feel
max that too
stupid
hard.
because like I got 20 drop, no joke, fucking 4 times or something, but I was just switching it because I was like, oh no, I need boss. But then I
Yeah.
thought about it, I was like, oh come on, like.
Yeah, in
There's-
hindsight, it's 2020 there. Yeah, but
Because it's not a super rare line, so yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the other one's the boss, the +1 levels, attack speed +1, like
Well, yeah, I
chance,
guess that's
chance
the new
cooldown.
PIS that I'm
Yeah,
looking
if you're
for
looking
anyways.
for, yeah, if you hit that one, then you're just like, well, fuck it, just got your losses there.
Yep.
Yeah, and once the Legion starts rolling, you'll start being able to dip into those Legion coupons, and then you'll see your rates spike up even more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Those will
Yeah,
get big. In the beginning, you're just dedicating everything to ranking up your Legion, but once it's kind of like settled at 4K, 5K, and it stays there for a while longer, you'll start grouping up a lot of coins. So just make sure you keep doing the Legion dailies. Those extra 30, that definitely adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Good luck on
Yeah, I
the
think
on the
we're
boost
all good.
nodes, because a lot of work there still, because you need so
Yeah.
many. But once you have those 6, it's 6 boost nodes that you need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you have those 6 lined up, that'll be load off your chest, and then you can focus on all the other
I'm
stuff.
not even too concerned about it, honestly. Like, just the sheer amount of nodes that there are with like the decrafting, and when I level them up, like I think it's all gonna be fine at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have all the faith in you, dude.
Thank you.
All right, yeah. Well, yeah. Once you get that crit and that ID fixed a little bit more, new character, get the Beast Tamer in, they'll start. It'll start rolling, and you'll start seeing that your character does way more damage. Yeah, the IED is blocking most of your damage now. That's
IED does it affect normal mobs?
not really. No, the highest level mobs have a little bit of PDR, but they literally have like 10% or something. So it just
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, even if you have literally like 10% IED or 100 or like 100%, your damage doesn't really go up by all that much. No, it's pretty insignificant for normal monsters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much the PDR is just stopping me from like as of now I'm
Yep.
on track to do like hard Hilla and like CPB, and then maybe normal Empress if I like do
Yeah,
like a
normal
long
sickness. Yeah. And then after
Yeah.
that, Chaos Sakum, Chaos Papulatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think I have a solid road of progression like set in place now.
For sure, yeah. There's it's good that there's like a lot of like milestones when it comes to bossing now, so you can really feel like you're
Yeah.
getting to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly the like biggest difference I feel like between reboot and normal servers is like just the fact that I actually get to experience progression. I'm not skipping through like a million of the earlier stages and stuff.
Oh yeah, you just buy a new equip and that like lets you skip 4 bosses kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or-
not like I'm just preparing my character and I'm like, oh, look at me, like I could do fucking hard lucid now.
yeah. I guess you once you grind the levels out, you just get the new gear, you just pop it on, and boom, your damage goes times 10.
Yep. Yeah, this is a way different experience for me, but this is definitely like way more enjoyable.
Well, I'm glad that you found a more enjoyable time, and you get to save a little bit on your wallet.
Oh, way too much, not just a little.
Well, I'll wish you the best of luck then.
Yep, thank you so much, and thank you for adjusting your schedule and stuff. Like, I know that was annoying, but
Yeah, I mean, we missed each other a few times, so I felt like it was only right to accommodate. I'll have to do 2 sessions today now, so, but, I mean, I kind of keep my weekdays open now for Project CRA anyway, so there's a lot of wiggle room for stuff, so, and I've got like
Yeah.
15 of these sessions to plan out.
Yeah.
So it'll
Hey
be.
man, at least you're getting the money though.
Yeah, exactly. They're getting paid, but I've been putting in the work too, so I guess it's worth.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
All
All right,
right.
man. I won't keep you longer. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome, and best of luck, man.
Yep. Have a good day.
Yes, you too. Bye. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Dude, I set all the audio properly, and then as we started, I just double checked the audio again just to be sure, and it was actually turned off again, and I don't know why. I double checked it in both the scenes, and it was set correctly. Okay, before we do that, thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, hello YouTubers. No longer giving away the free sessions, but I drew the winners for the free sessions, and the winners for YouTube were Zoocat and Gaming Evan 96. You guys, okay, I didn't draw you guys as winners, but you guys were commented on every single one of the videos, so I thought that dedication deserved to get that. Okay, the other people who won were Jiba Kure 86, Adam Nicholas, Gerald Lee, and Hero Chris X. You guys also won. I'll be messaging you through YouTube, but you guys won the sessions through the YouTube comment section. So congrats on you guys. I'll be contacting you, or you guys can contact me. Check !progression in my stream, and then you can see what kind of information I need from you, and then we can set up. If you hit me up through Discord, that would be ideal. These are the other people that won through my Twitch chat. So these are like 15 sessions that I have to set up somewhere in the next weeks. So we're gonna have our hands full, but it's a lot of a lot of spreading the cheer, because these people are all getting it for free because people in my community donated to give it free for you to you guys. With that being said, if you want to skip the line, no, if you want to get one of these sessions as well, you weren't as lucky and to win one of the free ones, you can always check the description of the video. I have it all laid out there, how much the sessions are and what kind of information I need from you and how long they roughly are. Usually it should be like an hour and a half. I think this one was actually 2 hours now. I should be keeping track of time a little bit more for my own sake and for everyone's sake, to be straightforward with that. But yeah, with this guy, we kind of, our scheduling kind of fucked up a few times, so I kind of like swung him in. And then we have like an hour until the next session. Great. But if you like this, then I'm glad that you liked it. Hopefully it was informative and entertaining, and then I'll see you on